Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be exploring this Faith Book 9.
Okay.
It's pretty wild, and right at the beginning it comes with this disclaimer.
Oh, wow.
It says, cleanse your manas with practice of sadhana, and then go through literature, otherwise reality will be lost upon you.
So manas, this is another word for mind.
Okay,
And sadhana refers to those spiritual practices like meditation and yoga.
gotcha.
And the author here is Shri Suresh Kumar Makam, who is a disciple of revered Shri Raghavendra Rao Sahib.
So we should just refer to him as Shri Suresh.
Yes,
It sounds like Shri Suresh really wants us to approach this book with a clear and open mind.
absolutely.
So ready to jump into Faith Book 9?
Let's do it.
Maybe we can start with one of the most interesting stories
Okay.
about King Vipashat and his men venturing across the sea.
Right. It's not your typical sea voyage.
Okay,
So picture this. Vipashat wants to explore this vast sea,
okay.
but he doesn't send his men in ships.
Real.
Instead, they walk on water.
Walking on water. Whoa, okay, that's definitely got my attention.
Yeah.
But how is that even possible in this book?
Well, the text mentions they use mantras and amulets imbued with spiritual power.
Right.
And these tools grant them the ability to not only walk on water, but also survive shark attacks and navigate these dangerous currents.
So it's not just like a cool visual. It sounds like this is a big part of the book's message
Absolutely.
about the power of belief to shape reality.
Exactly. And this is just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
Vipashat's adventures take him through some incredible transformations.
Like what?
He becomes a yaksha demon,
A yaksha demon.
which is this kind of nature spirit in Hindu mythology.
Interesting.
He even turns to stone and lives as a bird.
It sounds like this Vipashat goes through a lot of changes.
He does.
Is there a deeper meaning behind all these fantastical transformations?
Absolutely. So while these transformations are fantastical, they're also deeply symbolic.
In what way?
They represent the soul's journey through different states of being. The book seems to be saying that reality is fluid,
Okay.
shaped by consciousness and ignorance.
So it's not just about Vipashat literally changing forms.
Right.
It's about the different states of being we all experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, though, what does the book mean by ignorance in this context?
Good question. So in this context, ignorance isn't about lacking knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about being unaware of the true nature of reality. It's about mistaking the physical world for the ultimate reality.
So Vipashat's transformations are like metaphors for the different ways we can perceive reality.
Yeah.
And how clinging to a limited view can keep us trapped in a cycle of ignorance.
That's a great way to put it. And this idea of the limitations of perception is further emphasized by the elaborate cosmology presented in the text.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it say?
It describes this vast and intricate universe
Okay.
with Lokaloka Mountain, a starry frame, zodiacal light, even a sphere of vacuum.
Wow.
Vipashat tries to reach the limits of this universe, but his attempts highlight the boundless nature of ignorance.
So it's not just about Vipashat literally trying to find the edge of the universe.
Right.
It's about the idea that ignorance itself has no boundaries.
Precisely. And it raises a good question for us. What are some areas in our own lives where we might be clinging to limited perspectives?
That's a good question to ponder.
Yeah,
It's like the book is challenging us to examine our own assumptions about reality.
it is.
But let's move on to another story that really caught my eye. The unnamed sage who inhabits the body of Viraj.
Okay.
What's Viraj?
Viraj in Hindu mythology represents the cosmic being or the universal form.
Ah, I see. So this unnamed sage experiences the world through the senses of this cosmic being.
Exactly.
What a trip. What can we learn from this experience?
This story delves into the idea that our perception of reality is deeply subjective. It's shaped by our beliefs, habits, and past impressions.
Okay.
The sage, while inhabiting Viraj's body, realizes that the world is a reflection of the divine mind.
That makes me think about how our individual perceptions color our experiences of the world.
Right.
But if our perceptions are so subjective,
Yeah.
how can we ever know what's truly real?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's something that Faith Book 9 really makes us grapple with.
Okay.
This idea of subjective reality ties into the book's exploration of dreams and waking states.
Yes. The book seemed to really blur the lines between reality and illusion.
It does.
I remember those intense descriptions of the world dissolving.
Yeah.
Especially the image of the gigantic carcass falling from the sky.
Right.
It was almost like something out of a cosmic horror story.
It's definitely meant to be unsettling.
Yeah.
Remember, these descriptions aren't literal events.
Eh?
They're metaphors for the cyclical nature of creation and destruction and the impermanence of material existence.
So by showing this dissolution of the world,
Yeah.
the book is emphasizing that everything is in constant flux,
Yes.
and that even seemingly solid realities are ultimately impermanent.
Exactly. And that brings us to another fascinating story, the one about the 8 Brahman brothers.
Right. Each brother, through a twist of fate, believes himself to be the sole ruler of the earth.
Right.
I found their stories to be a great illustration of how perception shapes reality.
Absolutely. It highlights how our beliefs and convictions can shape our entire experience of the world.
Yeah.
The brothers' destinies are shaped by the power of blessings and curses.
Okay.
But it also hints at something deeper, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it seems to suggest that our thoughts and desires have a tangible impact on our experiences.
Yes.
If we believe something strongly enough, it can become our reality.
It can.
But this raises another question. If our thoughts are so powerful,
Yeah.
how can we avoid getting lost in delusion?
That's where the importance of discernment and self-awareness comes in.
Okay.
Faith Book 9 seems to be urging us to examine our beliefs and understand how they shape our reality.
Okay.
And perhaps to question whether those beliefs are serving us or holding us back.
That's a powerful insight. This deep dive is really making me think about the power of my own mind.
It is powerful.
So we've explored the power of belief, the limitations of perception,
Yeah.
and the idea that reality might be more fluid than we think.
Right.
Where does the book take us from here? So we've been unpacking some pretty mind-bending concepts from Faith Book 9.
Right.
Like the idea that the world is a reflection of the divine mind.
Yeah.
It's as though our reality is a projection of a higher consciousness. It's making me rethink everything I thought I knew.
That's precisely what Shri Suresh seems to be doing with this book,
Right.
challenging our conventional understanding of reality.
Okay.
He's suggesting that what we perceive as the material world isn't separate from consciousness,
Really?
but rather a manifestation of it.
So it's not just that our minds shape our individual realities,
Right.
but that a universal consciousness shapes the entire universe.
Yeah.
That's a pretty profound concept.
It certainly is, and it leads to a really interesting question. If the world is a reflection of the divine mind, then what does that mean for us? Are we just passive reflections? Or do we have agency within this grand illusion?
That's where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
If everything is predetermined,
Right.
what's the point of anything?
Right.
But the text seems to suggest that we do have the power to choose how we experience the world.
Yes, exactly.
Even if it is an illusion.
And this connects to the concept of liberation,
Okay.
which is a central theme throughout the book. Liberation in this context isn't about escaping the world,
Okay.
but about freeing ourselves from the chains of ignorance and attachment.
So instead of trying to run away from reality,
Yeah,
we should be aiming to see it for what it truly is.
precisely.
To free ourselves from those limiting beliefs and attachments that keep us stuck.
Exactly. And Faith Book 9 offers some guidance on how to achieve this liberation.
Okay.
It emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, meditation, and understanding the power of our own minds.
The book actually describes a technique where you focus on the space between thoughts.
Oh, wow.
It's about cultivating that stillness,
Okay.
and that pure emptiness where the illusions of the world fade away.
Right.
It sounds like a really challenging practice,
It is.
but also really intriguing.
It is challenging, but incredibly rewarding.
Yeah,
It's about quieting that constant mental chatter
right.
and connecting with the pure consciousness that underlies all experience.
But Faith Book 9 doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of existence either.
No, it doesn't.
Remember those vivid and sometimes unsettling descriptions of the world's dissolution?
I do.
Like that image of the gigantic carcass falling from the sky.
Yeah, those were meant to be impactful.
They were like something out of a cosmic horror story.
They are meant to be impactful.
Yeah.
Remember, those descriptions are metaphors, designed to shake us out of our complacency and remind us of the impermanence of material existence. It's a call to look beyond the surface of things.
Okay. And seek deeper truths.
So it's like the book is giving us a wake-up call,
It is.
reminding us not to get too attached to the material world,
Right.
because it's ultimately fleeting.
Exactly. And it's not just about seeking liberation for ourselves.
No.
The text emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings.
Okay.
Our actions have a ripple effect, impacting the entire cosmos.
So our individual liberation is somehow connected to the liberation of all beings.
Yes. It highlights the importance of compassion,
Okay.
of recognizing that we are not separate,
Okay.
but part of a greater whole.
That's a beautiful and profound message.
It is.
But amidst all these philosophical concepts, the book also offers practical advice for navigating daily life, right?
Absolutely. For example, it emphasizes the importance of righteous conduct,
Okay.
of living in harmony with the natural order.
It also talks about the power of blessings and curses.
Yes.
Suggesting that our thoughts and intentions have a tangible impact on our lives
Right.
and the lives of others.
That's a powerful reminder to be mindful of our thoughts and actions.
It is powerful. We are not just creating our own reality, but contributing to a collective reality.
Wow.
And that's why it's crucial to be mindful of the thoughts we harbor and the actions we take.
But it seems like Faith Book 9 isn't just a rigid set of rules.
It's not.
It actually encourages critical thinking,
It does.
urging readers to question everything and ultimately discover their own truth.
That's what makes this book so timeless and relevant.
Yeah.
It's not about blind faith. It's about empowering individuals to awaken their own inner wisdom.
Right.
Remember the story of the 8 Brahman brothers?
Yes. Each brother believed himself to be the sole ruler of the earth,
Right.
even though they were all experiencing the same world. It
Exactly.
was a brilliant illustration of how perception shapes reality.
Exactly. And it brings up some fascinating questions about the nature of truth.
Like what?
Is there one absolute truth? Or are there multiple truths, each valid within its own context?
Right. Faith Book 9 doesn't offer easy answers,
Yeah.
but it provides a framework for exploring these questions
Okay.
and discovering our own unique understanding.
It's not giving us the answers,
Right.
but it's giving us the tools to find them ourselves.
Exactly.
That's what I love about this book.
Yeah.
It's a journey of self-discovery and exploration.
It is.
And speaking of exploration,
Yeah.
the text mentions these siddhas,
Yes.
these spiritual masters who have attained incredible powers through their practice.
Right.
Who are they?
The siddhas represent the pinnacle of spiritual attainment. They have transcended the limitations of ordinary human consciousness
Okay.
and are capable of performing extraordinary feats.
Like what?
Remember how Vipashit's men walked on water?
Yeah.
The siddhas are said to be capable of such things.
Wow. So they're like the ultimate spiritual superheroes.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But the text makes it clear that these powers aren't the ultimate goal.
Oh, really?
They're simply byproducts of a deep understanding of the nature of reality.
Okay.
It's not about seeking power for its own sake,
Right.
but about pursuing knowledge and liberation.
So the real power lies in understanding the true nature of reality
Yes,
and freeing ourselves from ignorance.
precisely. And Faith Book 9 suggests that we all have the potential to awaken these latent powers within ourselves.
We do.
It's a matter of dedication, practice, and a willingness to challenge our preconceived notions of what's possible.
But it sounds like it's not a journey for the faint of heart.
It's not.
The text is filled with warnings about the dangers of ego and attachment.
Right.
It's like there's a real risk of getting lost in the illusions of the world.
That's why it's so important to have a guide, a teacher, or a community to support us on this path.
Okay.
We can't do it alone. The text talks about the importance of lineage,
Okay.
of learning from those who have walked the path before us.
It's like we're all part of a grand lineage.
Yes,
A chain of seekers passing down the torch of wisdom.
it is.
That's a beautiful image.
And it highlights the responsibility we have.
Not just to learn and grow,
Okay.
but to share what we've learned with others.
Faith Book 9 is definitely a dense and challenging read,
It is.
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
It's a journey through the depths of consciousness, offering insights into the nature of reality, the illusion of the material world, and the path to liberation.
And while we've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
it feels like we've only scratched the surface.
We have. In the final part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we'll explore the text's ultimate message and discuss what it means for us as individuals navigating the complexities of the 21st century.
This deep dive into Faith Book 9 has been quite the journey.
Yeah.
We've explored the power of belief,
Right.
the limitations of perception, the nature of reality,
Yeah.
even the possibility of spiritual liberation.
It's a lot to process.
It is. What has resonated most with you throughout this exploration?
For me, it's the sheer scope of this book.
Yeah.
That's truly remarkable.
As a
Shri
fun.
Suresh tackles such profound questions.
About the nature of reality,
Right.
consciousness,
Okay.
and the path to liberation. It's like a crash course in ancient wisdom,
Right.
but interwoven with these wild, fantastical stories that make it so captivating.
Yeah. Those stories definitely make it more engaging than just reading some dry philosophy.
They do.
And I think they serve a real purpose, too.
Yeah,
Remember that disclaimer at the beginning
I do.
about cleansing the mind with sadhana?
Right. He's urging us to approach these concepts with a clear and receptive mind.
So Shri Suresh isn't just presenting information.
No, he's not.
He's inviting us to actively engage with these ideas,
Yeah.
to question them,
Right.
and ultimately integrate them into our own understanding of the world.
Exactly. It's about applying these principles to our daily lives,
Right.
transforming ourselves from the inside out.
So Faith Book 9 isn't just about gaining intellectual knowledge.
Right.
It's about a transformation of consciousness.
Exactly. One of the key ideas that stuck with me was the emphasis on self-realization. The text suggests that true liberation comes from recognizing our inherent divinity,
Okay.
from understanding that we're not separate from the universal consciousness.
So it's like we're all drops in the same ocean,
Yeah.
interconnected,
Right.
and ultimately part of something much larger than ourselves.
Exactly.
But if we're all part of this divine consciousness, why is there so much suffering in the world?
It's a question that has perplexed philosophers and spiritual seekers for centuries.
It has.
Faith Book 9 attributes suffering to ignorance,
Okay.
to our attachment to the illusion of separateness.
Okay.
It suggests that when we identify with our ego, with our limited sense of self,
Right.
we create suffering for ourselves and others.
So liberation is about transcending the ego,
Yeah.
about recognizing that our true self is beyond those limitations.
Precisely. And this isn't just a theoretical concept.
Yep.
It has practical implications for how we live our lives.
Like what?
When we operate from a place of love, compassion, and understanding, we contribute to a more harmonious world.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
But the world can feel so chaotic and overwhelming at times.
they can.
How do we cultivate this inner peace and compassion amidst all the storms of life?
Faith Book 9 offers some practical tools for navigating these challenges.
Like what?
It emphasizes the importance of meditation,
Okay.
self-reflection,
Yeah.
and cultivating a deep understanding of the nature of reality.
So it's about training our minds to see beyond the illusions of the world
Right.
and connect with our inherent peace and wisdom.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It takes consistent practice and dedication to develop this inner strength.
It's like we need to build a kind of mental muscle,
Mhm.
a resilience that allows us to stay grounded and centered amidst all the ups and downs of life.
That's a great analogy. And just like any muscle,
Yeah.
it takes consistent practice and dedication to develop this inner strength.
But Faith Book 9 isn't just about personal transformation, is it?
No, it's not.
It also seems to offer a broader vision of a society rooted in spiritual principles.
Yes. The text suggests that when individuals awaken to their true nature, it naturally leads to a more just, compassionate, and harmonious society.
So it's like a ripple effect.
It is.
Individual transformation creates a ripple
Yeah.
that spreads outward, impacting the world around us.
Exactly. And this vision feels more relevant than ever in our current world where we face so many complex challenges.
So what's the ultimate message of Faith Book 9?
Right.
What does Shri Suresh want us to take away from this incredible journey?
I believe the core message is one of empowerment.
Empowerment.
It's a call to awaken to our true potential, to recognize our inherent divinity, and to actively create a world that reflects those values. It's a message of hope, of possibility, and of recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destiny,
Okay.
both individually and collectively.
So Faith Book 9 doesn't give us all the answers,
It doesn't.
but it gives us a framework, a set of principles and practices to guide us on this journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Exactly. But ultimately, it's up to each of us to take the next step.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Faith Book 9,
Yeah.
what would you say to our listeners who are now curious to learn more?
I encourage you to explore this book for yourselves.
Okay.
Dive into Faith Book 9 with an open mind and an open heart.
Yeah.
Let the stories and teachings challenge your assumptions
Right.
and ignite your own journey of awakening.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible journey exploring this book together.
It has.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Faith Book 9.
Yes, thank you.
See you next time for another fascinating exploration.